What is going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about where I was the past week, and if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, which you should, you pretty much already know the situation that I was going through this past week. But for all of you that do not follow me, I am going to go ahead and let you know what was going on in my life this past week, why I was in Kentucky, and yeah, it's not the greatest situation, but life happens, and it really just depends on how you react to certain situations in life. But we're gonna go ahead and get into this, so here we go. Alright guys, so like I said in the beginning of the video, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you already know what this video is about, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the situation. So, my grandmother, who is the most beautiful, most amazing woman in this world, has been battling thyroid cancer for the past 15, 16 years. She is 65 years old right now, so since she was about 50 years old, she's been dealing with this terrible, terrible disease. And before I even continue on, I will tell you that she has done multiple rounds of chemo and radiation. Not once have I ever heard her complain or get her spirits down or anything, ever. Never have I one time. She is such a trooper through all of this, it's incredible. But so she's been on this experimental medicine for about a year now, and basically what it's supposed to do is, it's not supposed to get rid of the cancer, it's not supposed to kill the cancer, it's basically supposed to just stop it. It's supposed to stop it from growing, and that's all it does. It doesn't get rid of anything, it just basically cuts it off. You're too drunk at the bar, it's the bartender that's saying you're done. So she's been taking it, it's been doing great. Now the issue was, she started taking this because the doctors didn't want to get her back on any more radiation. Her body's just taking too much, and they didn't want to do it to her again. So that's why she got on this. But the reason they got her on this is because her cancer in her thyroid, her throat was gone. She's had a few operations before to remove that. She lost the use of her left vocal cord. It was paralyzed during one of the operations, and so her voice has always been really weak. But that's beside the fact. So they got her on this new medicine because they found that it had spread into her lungs. So they got her on this. She's been on it for a while. The cancer has not grown at all, which is great. The experimental drug was doing exactly what it was supposed to do. Now the issue was, everything in her throat was gone. 6 weeks after her last checkup, they go in, take her CT scans. It's all over her neck again. It is completely back. It's wrapped around her voice box. And so basically they said, you're going to have to go in for surgery. We got to go in, we got to get rid of this. The doctor said that he thought that he could save her voice box. Then when they went in for the last scan before they did the surgery, he was like, I don't really know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So we go in, and we get there the day before the surgery, hang out and everything, get to spend some time with her before the surgery. They go in for the surgery. It is a 10-hour surgery. 10 hours. So we get there at like 8 in the morning, and we're there till midnight. We don't leave until midnight. So this is where the situation gets 1,000 times worse. She comes out of surgery. He comes out and he goes, I was able to save her voice box. She's still going to be able to talk. Everything looks good. We got really lucky being able to save her voice box. And you guys can go back there and visit her in the next few minutes. We'll let you know when you're able to go back there. So we were ecstatic, couldn't believe it, because he basically said there's not much of a chance we're going to be able to save her voice box. So we were all being prepared to hear that we are never going to be able to hear her speak again, which is heartbreaking. It's terrifying to think that you're never going to be able to hear her say another word again. So we go back there to visit. My grandfather and aunt go back there first. Then my mother and her other sister go back, because you can only send 2 back at a time. So they go back, and then before anyone else went back, my mom had my aunt run back and grab me, and I went back there with my mom, who was already back there, to say hey. So go back there, and it's absolutely gut-wrenching seeing the state that she's in. I mean, they had to cut her from basically shoulder to shoulder, back down the left side of her head, the left side of her scalp, because they had to remove a nerve for her vocal cord, which is actually attached to the brain at the base of the skull. So they had to detach that, move it out of the way so they could get into where they needed to work. It was just, it took everything in me not to burst into tears right in front of her, because I knew that if I did that, it would make her realize just how bad things were. My grandmother is very, very big on being put together and looking good whenever she's around people. So something like that would have absolutely killed her. So I come in, and the first thing I said to her was, "Nana, they were able to save your voice box. You're going to be able to talk again." And she was actually able to talk then. She looks at me and she says, with the little bit of voice she has, she says, "Are you happy?" And I said, "Of course I'm happy." And then she tells me, "I'm going to Disney World this summer," which is just like her. Like I said, she never gets down. And then she starts to complain about this pain on her left side. So I was a nursing student. I'm certified EMT out of high school. I look up at her board, and I'm seeing her pulse is jumping up, her heart rate's jumping up, and her O2 stat is way low. It was like at 85. It should be more around 98 to 100. She just keeps complaining. So I grab the nurse. She comes in, and I told my mom, I said, "Let's go grab Pap so he can be back here for this." So we go back out into the waiting room, wait for another like 30 minutes. The doctor comes out and said that basically what they had to do to save her voice box is they had to cut her trachea, which is your actual, the tube that brings the oxygen down into your lungs. They had to cut the trachea. It's about 5 inches long on a female, on an adult female. They had to cut it about 1.5 inches out, and then basically what they had to do is they had to pull it back together and attach it back together. Now that puts a lot of strain on your neck, because you're taking away 1.5 inches of length that you used to have, but you no longer have. So they said that it was going to have to be done. You were have to be very careful in the first couple of days until those things started to heal up. To coughing and things like that, putting pressure on the trachea could pop one of those sutures. So basically he was like, yeah, one of the sutures popped. That pain she was feeling in her abdominal cavity was actually up in her chest. It was just referred pain where the air was leaking out and filling up inside of her chest cavity. That's why she was feeling that pressure. So they said they're going to go back in, reattach it up, make sure that it's all nice and tight, and they should be good. 3 hours later, they come back and talked to the surgeon, who, by the way, is one of the best in the country. And basically he said once he got in there, whenever he had to move a couple things around to get things where he needed to resuture the larynx, they could see on the back of the voice box, which looked like calcified tissue, which he was assuming was just probably from the number of surgeries that she's had. It was just scar tissue. But the issue was, it wasn't scar tissue. He took a biopsy, called in the pathologist at 10 o'clock at night to come in and take a look at it, and the entire back of her voice box was riddled with cancer cells. So after all of us being so excited because they were able to save her voice, we bring her out and we get to talk to her, and she thinks that they saved her voice and everything's good. He had to do a complete laryngectomy and remove her larynx, and she no longer can talk. So needless to say, it was a very, very difficult thing to come to terms with, and quite honestly, I haven't yet. The next day after the operation, we were visiting her in the ICU, and it's just so damn, it's so hard to see a woman that is typically so full of life and so vibrant, so energetic, and seeing her, one, the way in the state that she's in after the surgery, and two, seeing her try to say things to you. She's moving her lips, she's trying to talk, and nothing's coming out. It took every shred of me not to break down every time I was in there, because I felt so bad for her. She'd try to talk and she'd say a couple things, you wouldn't be able to understand her, and then you could see like this kind of look of just dejection in her face, and she would motion for us to hand her a little handheld whiteboard. She had to write it down. I feel so bad for her, because she is the nicest, most amazing woman you will ever meet. She treats everybody exactly how she would want to be treated, and to see her go through the things she's gone through is just incredible. The amount of money that my grandparents have had to spend on these cancer treatments is ungodly, and the insurance covers a laughable amount, and the one thing I'm doing from now on until this summer, I am doing any and everything I can to get the money to take my grandmother to Disney World. Because the last thing I heard my grandmother say, the last thing I will ever hear her say, is that she was going to Disney. It sounds ridiculous, but she loves Disney World. She always has. And I feel so helpless in this situation. But sorry. I hate asking you guys for anything, but I am making thyroid cancer awareness style ZJMotovlogs shirts that you can see right here. The link is in the description to order. I'm going to have them up for about 2 weeks. I've put the link to my my PayPal in the description. If you want to donate to help me, one, get my grandmother and my grandfather to Disney World this summer, and try to give them as much as I can to help them with their medical bills, and I hope that I'm not coming off as, oh, my situation's so bad nobody understands, because I get that this is something that too many families go through. Way too many. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm acting like my family struggles are more important than everybody else, and that I should be donating this to a charity, but instead I'm trying to just give it to my family. That's not the case. It's just, I know how much my grandfather, how much he has had to do, and I know, on top of the fact that his wife can no longer talk, and seeing his wife wither away and go through all the things that she's had to go through, I'm not able to help as much as I would like to, and take some of that stress off of his mind. But if I can sell some t-shirts to raise awareness for this, and do something to help them out, and if I can get my grandmother to Disney World, you guys don't understand how much any and everything you guys do means to me, and how much your help and your support in situations like this, and any other guy on YouTube can tell you that. This is similar to the situation with Yummy. Whenever his niece lost her battle, and the whole community band together to make sure that she could have a proper funeral. Obviously, my grandmother's still here, she's still alive, but I'm asking you guys for help just like he did. And I just want to make sure that my grandparents are okay, and that I do any and everything I can to make life a little bit easier for one of the women who's very responsible for me turning into the man that I am. So if me asking for y'all's help offends any of you, I apologize, and that was never my intent. But I need you guys. I need your help. I don't like it. I don't like this at all. I don't like asking anyone for anything. But I am big enough of a man to realize that when I need help, and to ask for it when I need it. And yeah, I don't really know how much more of this video I can do. Many situations are hard for me, but stuff like this, I turn into a big baby. But I'd really appreciate it if you guys could grab one of the shirts and help show support. I'm going to figure out something that I can do for you guys in return for all of this. You guys are amazing. I love each and every one of you, and thank you guys for all of your kind words on Facebook and Instagram. It really means so much. It does. You guys are a big reason why I'm able to get through this, and I love each and every one of you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. So hope you guys have a great day. Thank you again for all of your support, and I'll see you on Thursday. Have a good one, guys.